What's up guys, Hangy from Esperino, and I'm back with another recent pickup video. This time these recent pickups have a more retro flavour, and it's actually completely focused on the Nintendo GameCube. The GameCube is a console which I played a lot of growing up. My brother and I shared our GameCube collection, and since I moved out of the house there's a lot of titles which I've never actually owned, but I did play quite a lot of them. So I've got a bit of a soft spot for the GameCube. And it's been really great to be able to get a hold of some of these titles which I really loved growing up and building my own collection around them. First up I got a hold of Mario Power Tennis. This game saw a re-release on the Nintendo Wii, and because of that reason it hasn't really skyrocketed in price compared to some of the other GameCube titles which you're about to see. This one's in really good shape. It comes with the game manual, and you can also see there it's got this really funky tennis ball design on the Nintendo GameCube disc. One of the things I really loved about the GameCube is the game cases which it came in. The designs were really elegant, and living in Victoria, where they're close by to Nintendo Australia head office, it was really easy to get replacement cases or manuals and whatnot. Unfortunately it's pretty much impossible to get replacement parts for the GameCube these days, but thankfully this one's in really nice shape, and you can see there this is the Australian power release and the manual's in top condition. This one will probably set you back the going market rate about $30 to $40, but I'll let you know what I paid for all this at the end of the video. So that's the first pickup, Mario Power Tennis. Second title I managed to get a hold of is Mario Kart Double Dash. Now this one was an interesting game in that it kind of mixed up the Mario Kart formula by introducing two characters in the one kart. This one here is in really nice condition as well. You can see like a checkered pattern on the Nintendo GameCube mini disc, I guess you could call it, and the manual's in phenomenal shape. If you're wondering why these game cases are in such great shape, it's because going back maybe like 3-4 years ago, I had the mindset to actually buy brand new game cases, like official Nintendo game cases for Power Region, and I stocked them up, and now that I'm rebuilding the collection, it's a case of just swapping out the cases, which hasn't been too bad so far. I do have a limited amount of cases, so I can only really go after the stuff that I really love or really want, which is not that bad considering a lot of these Nintendo first party titles is what I'm usually chasing after right now. This game, some people don't rate it as being the best Mario Kart in the series, but it's pretty good. Like, I played a lot of it back then, so I'm sure I'm gonna delve back into it and see how it all compares now. But yeah, this game, I think it's probably retailing more closer towards $50 now, which isn't too bad. So if you're looking to get Mario Kart Double Dash, definitely get this to add to your GameCube collection. It's a really great title. So yeah, my second pickup, Mario Kart Double Dash. Next up is Metroid Prime for the Nintendo GameCube, and this one is also in really nice shape. This is the Australian release, and you can see there the manual's in really good shape. It's really clean, really sharp, and the game disc. I love how much thought went into creating these GameCube game discs, and you know, looking back on them now, it's definitely one of the nicer designs. I wasn't a huge fan of Metroid Prime, to be honest. On the GameCube, it was pretty good, but there's just so many other great titles on the GameCube, I must admit, that it wasn't something that got a lot of play, so I'll have to go back and try this again and see if my opinions had differed after so many years onwards. But this is a really nice game to add to the GameCube collection. Maybe it's not the best Metroid Prime title, but I think that a lot of the fans would still enjoy it. Following up Metroid Prime is Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. This one has a really nice cover art. It's got this kind of foil texture, which you can see shimmers off in the light. And this was an interesting title in that it was one of the last, I wouldn't say last, but it came out kind of closer towards the second half of the GameCube life cycle. And this one actually supported 60Hz, which some of the earlier titles didn't. This is the Australian release as well, which is pretty neat. And you can see the back there, you've got that foil texture. This one is again in complete condition and really mint. You can see there the game disc is in great shape, and the manual is in excellent shape as well. I pretty much picked up all of this just from the one seller, and if you're wondering why it's all in such good condition, it's because the seller inherited this from his uncle, and a lot of it wasn't actually played. The uncle used to have a video game store, so he ended up with all this stuff, and when I went to pick this up, he said that I wouldn't be disappointed, and he was 100% spot on. Once I switched out the cases, everything kind of looks brand new again. So yeah, that's Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. It wasn't a popular title. I mean, I know a lot of people complained about it. I'd have to agree with them. I did try this one, and even at 60 Hz, it wasn't really enough to make it stand up compared to the original Metroid Prime, but it was a good effort. It just, when you've got Metroid Prime and then you have Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, everyone's going to make the comparison against the original, and unfortunately it just didn't quite get there. But it's not a bad title, it's just wasn't as good, if you can say that about a Metroid game. Okay, so here's a game which I'm really happy to get a hold of. It's Paper Mario The $1000 Door, and this one's the Australian release. If you played Paper Mario games, you'll know how good they are. This one's skyrocketed in price. I think it's going for something like $70, $80, which is pretty much what it went for when it was brand new. So, you know, it's weird how retro games have become so popular these days, but this one's in really good shape, you can see as well. The manual's in excellent shape, really sharp, really clean, and the game cover, again, brand new. And you can see the spine there, Paper Mario $1000 Door. This is one of the better Paper Mario titles, and it really followed on from the Nintendo 64, and it kept the Paper Mario franchise really trucking along. Some people will say the 64 release of Paper Mario was a better title, but personally I found this game a really nice follow-up to the series, and if you're looking for more of an authentic Paper Mario experience compared to what was released on the Wii, this is definitely the way to go. It is a little bit pricey these days, but it's worth the investment. I mean, this is probably only going to go up in value over time, so yeah, check it out, Paper Mario The $1000 Door. Okay, here's a title I actually didn't own growing up. This is FZero GX. I played some F-Zero titles back on the Super Nintendo in the old days. It was fun, but it wasn't something that I was heavily into. This one is again complete with the manual. It's not a game which, I don't know, maybe I wasn't a big F-Zero fan, so I never got hooked on it or anything. The SNES version was pretty good, but I don't know why I never played F-Zero GX. I mean, I saw it on the store shelves and whatnot, but it wasn't something which I purchased or bothered to try, so... And even though I've picked up a copy of this, I haven't had a chance to give it a go yet, so I can't share my thoughts on it. But yeah, check down in the comments maybe a bit later on once I've played a little bit, and I'll let you know what I think. But if you played F-Zero GX and it's one of your favourite GameCube titles, let me know what you think about it and why it's one of your favourite titles, because I'd be interested to hear what you like and don't like about it. One of the exclusive titles to the Nintendo GameCube was Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. Now, after Square Enix departed ways with Nintendo in favour of Sony, it was one of the highlights, I guess, for Final Fantasy fans to have something come out for the GameCube from the Final Fantasy series. But unfortunately, Crystal Chronicles is... it's just not like a really traditional Final Fantasy game. There's a lot of things which people just didn't like about it, and I tend to agree with them, because there's just a lot of things missing from it. To make it one of those titles which is going to last the test of time, the interesting thing is they have followed up the Crystal Chronicles series with more titles, and if you want to know where it all began and came from, this is a good way to start. This game is still relatively, I'd say it's relatively inexpensive considering it's a Final Fantasy title and it's on the GameCube as well. You'll probably find this for about $40 complete, which isn't too bad if you think about it. I mean, the game is like, what, dates back to 2004, so it's a decade old, but for $40 you can give it a go again. Maybe I was a little bit too harsh on it back then, but we'll see how it compares now. But I wouldn't hold my breath with this one. Okay, here's a title that made owning a GameCube worthwhile, Tales of Symphonia. This was an exclusive to the GameCube for a short while before they started porting them to different platforms. But this game is one of the highly sought after RPGs on the GameCube, and it's with good reason too. It's one of the really well put together titles. You may have seen that they've re-released this on PlayStation 3 not that long ago, and it sold out really quickly. even now you probably have a bit of a hard time trying to get a hold of this. This game is still holding its value relatively well. It used to actually go for a lot more though. I remember there was a time this game was going for something like $100, which is pretty much what it sold for back in the day. But this game does come with 2 discs, which is one of the few titles to include 2 discs. And if you do play through the entire game, you'll know why. It's lengthy, and it really took advantage of the GameCube, and the storytelling in this plus the combat system was amazing, but still is amazing actually. So yeah, if you have a GameCube, this is one of those titles which you definitely have to own, or at least experience once. I mean, if you're going to buy a GameCube, buy this. Okay, another RPG which was exclusive to the GameCube, Baten Kaitos, Eternal Wings and the Lost Ocean. This one isn't quite as popular as Tales of Symphonia, but it is a really good RPG in its own right. This one again is the Australian release, and it also features the double disc format, which you can see there, disc 1 and disc 2. This one's in really good shape as well, and yeah, it was a fairly good RPG. It's come down quite a lot though in recent years, or maybe even months. I remember this thing used to go for, again, maybe pushing like $80. I've seen it sell for like $40-50, which I think is a bargain considering how good this game is. There was another Baten Kaitos title released in North America called Baten Kaitos Origins, which never saw a PAL release. But thankfully, if you get yourself a freeloader, you can experience it as well. It's one of those titles which I'll be looking to get a hold of down the line. I've never played Baten Kaitos Origins, but Baten Kaitos Eternal Wings and the Lost Ocean is definitely a title worth checking out if you are into JRPGs, particularly exclusive ones to the GameCube. Okay, and the last title that I picked up is Evolution Worlds. This one is really hard to find around here because it never saw a localized release. This is the PAL version, and you can see there it's the European release, and you've got this really nice condition manual. And here's a closer look at the back cover. If you're not familiar with Evolution, it was released on the Sega Dreamcast quite a while back, and they followed it up with a sequel as well. I can't remember what the name of the Evolution sequel is, but if you happen to know, leave it in the comments down below. The GameCube version is actually a combination of both the Evolution titles. I wouldn't regard it as a comprehensive release. From what I remember, the first Evolution game was heavily edited in this version, and if you're only looking to play the follow-up to Evolution, this is a good way to go. But then again, the Dreamcast also had that same Evolution on it, so the question is, do you want to play edited version, or do you want to play the full version on the Dreamcast? It's a tough one, but considering that Evolution Worlds isn't overly expensive, it's different in that it offers both Evolution titles in the one game disc, which is something the Dreamcast never did. So yeah, I've never had a chance to play this growing up, so I was really pleased to get a hold of this one as well. If you're wondering what I paid for all these titles in total, I got this as a big lot, so pretty much everything only cost me approximately $20 each, which is a really good price for GameCube titles. If you've been trying to get a hold of them or you collect GameCube, you understand how much of a bargain that is considering the condition these games are in. There's a few more GameCube titles that I have which I haven't shown yet, but I'll show those in the next video since this is starting to run a little bit long. So just a quick recap of my recent pickups. I got a hold of Mario Power Tennis, Mario Kart Double Dash, Metroid Prime, Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, FZero GX, Paper Mario The $1000 Door, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, Tales of Symphonia, Baten Kaitos Eternal Wings and the Lost Ocean, and lastly Evolution Worlds. Let me know which titles you own or which titles you'd like to add to your collection, or better yet, what games you enjoyed in the GameCube that I should consider adding to my collection. Thank you as always for watching, and please leave a like if you've enjoyed this video, it really helps me out, and don't forget to subscribe to keep up to date with more upcoming videos. Take care, and I will catch you next time. Bye.